Hi guys, and welcome back to the new rifle series. So if you haven't seen the previous two videos, the intro on what we're planning on doing, episode 1, which was the application for the weapon that you bought, we are now in episode number 2, the fantastic event of collecting your rifle and taking it home. So there's a two-parter here. First one is, what documentation do you require to go and collect your rifle or weapon that you bought? And what I suggest, just 1 or 2 tips going to collect it. And then once you got home, the gun cleaning. Okay guys, so let's start with the first part, the documentation for collection of the firearm. Alright, so as we know, there's different ways of tracking your application. You could either go to the SAPS's website, or you can download any app that gives you the ability to track that, or just wait until you get the message. So once you've received your message from the police service that it has been approved, there is an exemption for the printing of the card. So a few years ago, the printers were broken, there was no money to do a tender or whatever the situation were, but they couldn't actually print your license card. So these little white okies that you carry with you whenever you go hunting or wherever you go, these weren't available because the printer actually gave some or another. Either it was broken or the ink was finished. I don't actually know what the scenario was, but they couldn't give you this on the day of the approval. I know that usually it takes a little bit of time, but they've created an exemption for the cards, giving you a paper that looks like this, and it reads, the authorization to possess a firearm for an approved license. It's a SAPS 526. And when you have this, you can go to the gun shop or to the person that you bought it from and say, listen, I am now the new owner of the rifle, and they must let you take the weapon out of the shop or take it from that. So this is a very important part of the system. If you can't get this, because it takes time, I think I'm still waiting for some of mine, but you have this, you have the ability to go and collect. So as I said, a little bit of a tip, if you've bought it from a big outfit, Safari, Wildman, Normark, wherever you bought it from, give the guys a heads up that it's been approved and you would like to come and collect your weapon tomorrow. Reason for this is they don't necessarily store your weapon in the store. It's in a storage facility downstairs, and there's a whole bunch of weapons, and they have to go through the system to find it and make sure that it's ready and right. So don't just rock up with your paper and say, listen, I'm here to collect my gun, I'm very happy, because that's what most of us do. You take off from work, go get your printout, go to the gun shop and say, listen, I'm here, and then you have to wait 30 to 40 minutes for them to go downstairs and find it in the system. So what I suggest is, once you get the message, phone the guy up that you bought it from, say, listen, it's been approved, I'd like to come this afternoon, or I'd like to come in lunch or whatever. Then he knows that he can start prepping the rifle. So when you get there, there's no wait, and he can be a part of your excitement and not the downfall of the excitement because you have to now wait. So that's the only tip I'll give to you when you actually have the documentation. What I would also suggest is just take a copy of your ID or your actual ID so they can reference your ID to the ID number on this form. If it's one of these, they don't need your ID because it's your photo and your information and everything's on here. But according to this, it's still based on your ID number. So just take your ID so they can confirm whether or not it's you. All right, so that's the collection of the rifle. Fantastic. So I've got mine here. You've seen it. I've taken it out before. I was lucky enough to have the company actually clean it for me. I got it here, it's nice and clean. But we're going to talk a little bit about gun cleaning and what you need to do and what you need to look out for before you take this rifle to the range, put it in the chassis or stock or whatever you're going to do, and go shoot it. You have to clean it. So let me just take mine out so I can quickly just give you a slight demonstration. So you've got your broomstick that you accidentally bought, and now you got this. It's got a very thick oil substance that they put on the weapon to protect it from rust and whatever, anything else that can get onto the rifle or onto the weapon in the shipping part. Comes in a nice little sleeve, and the oil is all over the place. It's a very sticky situation when you take it out. So I'd suggest starting with the bolt. So you take your bolt out. All right, put the rifle away. If you're with a Hauer, and I'm talking a Hauer specifically because it's one of the most popular rifles sold, it's also one of the best ones that you can find information on. So for the bolt, it'll be very oily. It's like a very thick substance. I found that your normal oil actually takes the oil away. So don't try and wipe it off, because you'll just move the oil from one point to the next. And when that little lappy of yours is full of oil, you just move the oil from one point to the next. So spray it with oil. I don't know why, but oil removes oil, or gun oil removes that type of oil. And then take it apart. There's a lot of videos on YouTube where you can actually take your bolt apart to get to the inside to clean it. So it's a very simple system. There you go. I've taken it out. Take a few gauzes and put it in here. Clean the oil up in there. Spray it with oil. Clean this up nicely. Can't really access a lot on this, but this is the important part. Get that fat oil out of the spring and clean this firing pin nice and good, just clean it well, because this is what's going to be working up and down. And then we go reassembled. Very, very simple system, and you can clean that nicely. So for the rifle itself, the whole action area is very, very full of oil, because that's where the rust will go into the corners, or the moisture would go sitting there. So take a gauze or take oil, spray it all over. You can see I've got felt products. I use felt products. I find that it works well and it does a very good job. Spray this thing full of oil. Wear gloves if you want. Get the oil into the action. Let it start eating the other oil, or just loosening it up, or whatever it does. I'm not a chemical engineer, but it does whatever it does. And start with the barrel. Spray the oil in there, get it nice and clean, push your gauze through, take the nylon brush, brush it out, get the barrel clean, because that's the easy part. Take your ramrod or your rifle rod, fill it up with oil, stick it through, up and down, clean the barrel. Very simple system. There's not a lot of hard work that goes into this. And once that's done, then move to the action, because this is where it's got that nooks and crannies where the difficult part is to get all of the oil out. So I use these earbuds that you get, spray it full of oil, and in every corner which I can touch on the inside, I just clean it out until I know it's clean, and I use the gauze and do that. You can take this whole thing apart. My mag well is still on here. I'm going to put it in the chassis so the mag well will come out, which gives you access into the action at the bottom, which also makes it easier just using your finger and the gauze to get that thick oil out. Very simple, but it is a necessary thing to do. You can't go take this to the range, because the oil will get into the barrel. And once the oil is shot through the barrel, you can just as well throw it away, because then you get the oil rings, the oil marks, consistency's gone, accuracy's gone. So it's a very important part to clean the rifle correctly. So you go, guys, the two parts of this video: collection, gun cleaning or gun care, and then from here on out we're going to start doing accessories. So we'll start with scopes initially, talk about 4 options that I would say you can get in the South African market. What are good, what is the pros, what are the cons of each of those. Then scope is selected. How do you mount the scope to the rifle? Then rifle to chassis, and then accessories. So guys, stay tuned for the rest of the episodes, and we'll see you in the 3rd episode. See you later. Goodbye.